The Bible invented the term scapegoat. There was no such thing really as a book before the Bible. And it decided to invent the term scapegoat. Now, that's got a lot to do with stuff I see going on in the world. It looks like there's an alien race. There's something out here that's not human fucking enslaving the planet, stalking me constantly, always causing everyone across the world problems from what I can read. And looks like they got links to repeatedly enslaving the planet and claiming that they were slaves. Like Elon Musk was a slave to Egypt, according to his Bible. Donald Trump was a slave to Egypt. And everywhere they go, they were slaves. They were slaves in Germany. Oh, they were slaves. They were slaves in Italy. And oh, they were slaves in the Middle East and kicked out of there. Yet they own all those places. Like Elon Musk literally and Donald Trump's children look like every Roman statue ever made, along with everyone else who runs USA. So they weren't slaves in Rome either. And they use pyramids. They weren't slaves in Egypt. And they show no signs of understanding or like they could possibly be good slaves ever. So it's like something that they just can't do and stuff. Like, could you imagine trying to get someone to work who can't? You might as well just go to a place, the VFW, and pick up some war vets in wheelchairs who are missing their legs and try to whip them into building pyramids and carrying stones everywhere. You'd have a better chance because those people probably did some work. Because those other people, their rule book at the top is don't like fight in wars, but they have like all these other groups below them that do fight in wars. Pretty much everyone else is fighting wars for them and stuff. Yeah, I mean, you genocide the natives in USA, you build a little base and you start shipping in different groups as slaves, and then you free the slaves under the condition that they start fighting wars for you and stuff, and you convince people with your mind manipulation books that they must go steal land for you. And they're not just stealing the one land. I mean, they've been stealing like every land they possibly can. Like, they can't steal any more land going into Russia. I mean, it probably was more about both of them working together to kill Ukraine, but now they're invading Mexico on a higher level than they already were before and have over the past 2,000 years. People down there are probably some of those people are probably the people that they genocided to steal America from anyways. I'm sure some people like ran away, found a little land bridge and ran to where they could. But I invented the term scapegoat, and so it makes me think of how they're all up in my life and they're using their AI to generate all these movies and videos online to try to convince me I'm God and I need to act like Jesus or else they're going to torture me, and you know, they usually their enemy, their brother, Elon Musk's twin brother, fucking Elon Musk is Jesus apparently, and Elon Musk's twin brother Anton LaVey. I mean, they're like the same people writing the same fucking book even. It's just like they were the fucking slaves of Egypt, but they're the ones using the pyramid. And I mean, there's over and over and over and over. Right? They invented racial supremacy. The Bible's a book of racial supremacy. It's all about one inbred fucking bloodline. Like, the people who look like Elon Musk own everything in these nations that they've forced their religions upon, and anti-religions. So it seems like, you know, with with their terror fucking toaster asses all up in my life, constantly trying to feed my feed with all this. Like, why would my feed have anything to do with the Bible on it if I'm running around screaming they're fucking fascist, Nazi, fucking racist pigs? I don't think I've ever really said much else. I mean, they started coming to me in 2020 when they magically appear out of nowhere, travel across the map when I'm going 100 miles per hour, appear around the corner when I'm there. So it's obvious that they're there to try to convince me of some bullshit and stuff, because they wouldn't have to keep showing up in my life talking about this stuff if they weren't trying to do something. And if you read the book, it's kind of about creating a scapegoat. I mean, that's what it did. It paved the way for them to create Satanism, for them to invent Satanism, and which is them. I mean, they're funding Israel. They're funding the invasion of Palestine, which is what the Christians do. So it's the same people. I mean, you just look at them and see, in America, it's the same people. And you wouldn't even take that. You wouldn't even, like, take up that name. Like, I always think it'd be cool if I carved, like, pentagrams in my body and I could keep these people away from me and shit with stuff like that. You know, they would, like, think twice before trying to manipulate me and waste my life. I mean, it's the same shit. Like, I technically wouldn't be part of that, but it might help keep people away who don't need to be in my life. Terrorists and rapers and enslavers and pedophiles, to name their most common qualities. Fucking their most hidden qualities and shit. Fucking their most pertinent to me qualities. I mean, you don't come up to me fucking talking about I'm going to be a slave to your ugly mutant ass if I think you're disgusting and you're fucking a drug-addled terrorist. Like, that's stupid, but that's what it's about. I mean, the book literally says slaves are good and stuff, and what is it used for? It's used to go around and enslave the planet. They don't own everything because they're smarter than every person on the planet. They might be an alien species using AI for the past 6,000 years to enslave the earth, because that's what they worship, is this thing, this AI from the pyramid days, and that they always have to have on their pyramid and stuff, the symbol. It's the top of the pyramid above them, which also to me kind of symbolizes that they're probably just fucking bots and being generated by this evil fucking AI. But anyways, so they invent the word scapegoat, and all throughout that, there's just like so many, and they always say they're bragging about what they do to release their karma. So all throughout that, there's just so much scapegoats. Like, I mean, look, they have Jeffrey Epstein, one of their people. Probably nothing happened to him. They scapegoat him for child molesting, but they legalized child molesting 6,000 years ago under their racial supremacist manual and stuff. So that's a scapegoat right there. That's a good that's a good example of a scapegoat, is arresting one Jeffrey Epstein, while every city Jeffrey Epstein still runs and owns mansions in. You can just go to the hospital and watch him touch and mutilate a child if you want to, which has their symbols on it too. And like, let's look at the Mexican cartels. They're evil people who sell drugs. Mainly, I think it's because they're not these pale skins from the Middle East. That's the one thing everyone has in common that USA has had to kill off and invade, colonize, is they're not those people. They don't look like those people. they must die and be replaced by those people, apparently. So they're supposedly selling drugs, but you just go over here to the hospital with all the Christian, atheist, Satanist, Abrahamic gang signs and names on it, and they're the largest drug organization cartel in the world. They're producing a monopoly so only their people can run and control that, just like with all their religions. Only one people is allowed to have a religion because that means your people have enslaved the planet and conquered every other race upon the planet. So no other race can create a religion because you would get wiped out if you attempted that. And so they have thousands of religions. It's all the same thing. Most of them agree it's all the same thing too. So you must assume that those are halflings, and it's what happens when you genocide people. They aren't there anymore, and then like the Americans, everyone in America's in America now, yet they weren't 300 years ago. And probably like the Europeans, they have those signs of colonization and conquering as well. So they're probably not there anymore. Um, Probably similar to Egyptians. Wouldn't doubt that. They look kind of weird themselves. So I think we might be able to figure out what happened in Egypt by just taking a look at them. They're in Africa, and they were staying inside under the shade all day. And these other people would have been slaves outside in the burning sun all day. And they look like some people in Africa who look like they might have been out in the sun all day. So and they look like a mixture of those people, so we might be able to make some assumptions there. And that might be the original that might be the most pertinent scapegoat in that is a book saying that someone was slaves in Egypt who people running that stuff are showing no signs of being competent enough to be slaves, or ability to be slaves, or ability to not lie and not constantly claim the Germans are enslaving them, and then the Mexicans are enslaving them. The Mexicans are enslaving USA. Donald Trump and Elon Musk, man, they're so hated. I mean, so anyways, so the scapegoat thing they're inventing, you got to watch out for these people, because maybe it's just because I get so involved. It's weird, like, I guess they must have really tricked me a long fucking time. I mean, they've had this AI for 6,000 years, and all this stuff is, like, not new. Like, they open up my YouTube, and it's a whole bunch of real people talking about things that are real specific that they wouldn't know anything about, and it just generates real fast. I suppose the internet and Hollywood are a bunch of AI fabrications, and probably not much work going on there at all. That was weird with the Matrix 4 thing, how that was happening in my life, and I was recording it, and then I go in to watch the movie, and like the first 30 minutes of the movie was what I just recorded and was doing. So yeah, that right there kind of like lines up with what I'm seeing here on the YouTube for sure. Like, obviously that's a lot. I mean, they have, and then who's promoting the Bible now? The AI is saying, like, Elon has all these fake videos about Elon Musk being a Christian and stuff and worshiping God, and it's like his people don't worship the Bible. They give the Bible to people that colonized and replaced. When you look like those people, you're a full blood, and you worship the master religion of the Bible. You don't worship the colonized people's religions, offshoots and stuff. You might be Einstein and lead those people, but you might be Anton LaVey and lead the Satanists and stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, you still have those space heads on Star Trek using the master race symbols, the pyramid symbols, and so I think they know who they are. Um, I don't think they could own and run everything if they didn't. If their people, their family members didn't sit down once a week and talk about to each other about, our family owns and controls everything. We've got to like remain silent on this. And you need to marry into this family over here and force them to be Christians and destroy their children so they can't go anywhere. I'm pretty sure that's not just DNA doing it. I mean, it is, but they marry everyone in Hollywood who doesn't look like them because they're networking together to do that. It's not an accident. This is, I mean, they literally are the DNA that writes a book saying that God chose them to enslave the planet and kill everyone and colonize everyone. And you must worship them, give everything to them, and allow them to rule over you and be a servant to them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're aware of what they do. I mean, in their religion, they have stories of raping people to kill them off and steal that land from them. Because God has chosen to give them every land according to them. It just depends on what week you ask them which land God has chosen them to kill and genocide the people on. They chose them to kill and genocide the Native Americans 300 years ago. They chose them to kill and genocide the Japanese fucking 60 years ago. They chose them. And they also hit some other places 60 years ago. And since then, they've been trying to colonize parts near Russia and tons of places in the Middle East. God chose them to have Syria. God chose them, it looks like they're trying to get back to taking over Egypt. They killed one of Egypt's leader after they raped their way into a marriage with him, as they do with anyone that they bring over from another nation. They allow on TV and stuff. This is just like who they are, and their book like brags as to who it is, but it's like, I mean, they're passive aggressive fucking vaginas too. Like they're cowards and sissies, fucking who could easily be swatted the fuck down, but somehow passive aggressive fucking lies and manipulation works, and that again, that doesn't even make sense. It's got to be like a fake game world, like to allow such trash to exist. Fucking, there's no fucking way no one would have ever stopped that, yet alone fell for it and stuff. Like, oh yeah, I'll worship you. You're so great. You're the best child molester looking motherfucker I've ever met in my life. I love the abstract artwork of a child molester's fucking face and body, and I love their attitudes too. It's fucking amazing. Yeah, you got a little baby penis. I love it. We all love fucking villains in movies and shit. But they're not like cool like villains in movies. Fucking, they're not like the Joker. I mean, they probably are because only their people are allowed in Hollywood or to own anything or do anything. But so they're probably the actor who plays that. But like they don't have that attitude in the open and shit. I don't think they'd make it very far if they have that. But who knows? Like maybe they could win if they could have that attitude and back it up. But I think I'm assuming what they're feeding me and there are people stalking me. They're trying to pick up a scapegoat. They're trying to stage this Bible shit to confirm to morons on the outside that everything they said is real. So let's get this. We got an alien race trying to bait someone into fucking being a scapegoat for them. And like being like, oh, I'm God. I was in control of everything. When in fact, they were the people who did everything and on the planet, enslaved the whole planet and all that. So they can, it looks like someone's been putting in a lot of effort to try to convince me of some things that aren't true, and that requires a lot of unseen fucking methods, and pretty much you can tell just by reading that book, but especially like the parts they pick out of it. They're looking for blackmail, and they're looking for someone to say certain words and accept certain things. And then what? You play along with them. You get rich while they kill off everyone you like, and then you're left alone with them, and then they're going to scapegoat you. Be like, oh, that's not the real Jesus. Like, because the whole book is written that way for them to find a sucker to play the game with them and take the scapegoat for all of their fucking, die for their sins. And then if they don't play along and they get too far in the game, they can be scapegoated as Satan, the guy everyone thought was Jesus. And so if like Donald Trump were real and not on their side, hey, they could just be like, oh, it's Satan, but his children all look like them, so he probably is one. I mean, he has to wear a blonde wig for a reason. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that look. I mean, this is their personality type. This is what all their words have always added up to: just passive aggressive pansy manipulators. They're creating the word scapegoat, but their actions and attitudes definitely like that's all they've ever done is scapegoat shit. Like they scapegoated the Europeans for their cleansing of the Native Americans. They scapegoated the Europeans for their enslavement of the Africans, which they're using the pyramid, which means they're the first people to enslave Africans in the world, period. And just scapegoats, everyone else. It's always this other group that is doing what they have their fucking literal paws on and shit, right? It's who owns the media? It's the Germans, ain't it? Oh my God, the Germans own the media. All them cute black hair, black eye, fucking Middle Eastern looking people. Fuck, dude. Someone told me a long time ago the Germans were like blonde hair, blue eyed people, but it turns out to be, I looked up the history there, and Hitler and Goebbels look like Elon Musk. So, and USA also look like Elon Musk. Imagine that. Elon Musk looks like people in USA. Who could have thought? And then, that seems like scapegoat too, because the book is a book of racial supremacy. It begins talking about my bloodline is the best bloodline. They don't say like we is supreme. We say God chose us instead. I mean, and then I tried to look up where the word racial supremacy came from, because I know they invented that sometime around the 1940s. When they wanted to loot Germany, apparently. And I think they wanted to retire Germany and move the capital over to USA. And just like they're going to do that to USA to move the capital to where Americans have been stealing land for them in Khazaria, Ukraine, and the Middle East. Both those are like their favorite bases and stuff. They didn't even know America existed, supposedly, when they first wrote these books and shit. They didn't have that. It's kind of confusing, but they didn't mention it. If they worship this AI thing, then either literally their bots AI is creating these evil people, or they're using the AI to enslave the planet. What are they doing now? They're using AI to enslave the planet. Like YouTube is just trash. And who is YouTube? YouTube is these Middle Eastern religion creators. So, in Zuckerberg, same thing, same story there. He's using his stuff to create AI trash, and like that's where Elon Musk came from, was a whole bunch of fake AI generated videos about Elon Musk just flooding the internet. And no one even cared that they were fake. In the comments anyways, right? How many of those accounts are fake too? Because I watch shit appear like that, and it'll be populated with people, and sometimes it'll be backdated like a year, and I know some of this stuff is just being invented because I've watched it happen enough to understand that that is happening on this earth. So I know that sometimes that stuff is backdated, and it didn't likely exist a year ago when it claims it was put out. Seems a little too fast sometimes, especially for new ideas I have and stuff that appear like that. But I mean, that's where Elon Musk pretty much came from. I was trying to research Elon Musk because obviously I'm more interested in who these people are and their background and their families than I am what drivel comes out of their mouth, because that's going to tell me who they are. And if they're lying like their clones do, and like everyone else who looks like them does. So when I first started looking at that, and that was in 2020 when that started happening, they started putting out tons of obviously fake videos about Elon Musk. Like, it didn't even have him saying a word. Like, I couldn't even find like videos of him except for maybe one or two things. It's like he didn't even exist or something, which is, you know, that could only happen if their creator was AI. And that's odd because their people worship something called AI as their creator, so, and use its symbol as their creator. So he did kind of come out of nowhere there. And now he's in the presidency. It was nobody. He didn't even exist before 2020 for the most part. And now he's fucking president. And he also goes to space. He's always up in space, man, hanging out, fucking smoking weed with those Kevorkians and stuff, or whatever they want to call themselves with their little pyramid Star Trek gang signs. Fucking. Obviously, we have to call them every word except for the one that can easily identify them. That's just buried under a couple twists and turns that are easy to sort out once you get there. So, dude, whatever they want to be called, it only helps them, right? I mean, they literally are the New World Order, and they have the New World Order pyramid on some of their churches, and they're the people we can't name as well. And then there's a Satanist as well, and then there's the atheist as well, and then so blah 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 blah, and then that's kind of like scapegoating in its own to create those different things. Like the Bible says they were slaves in Egypt, but they're using that. So I already pointed that out, that's scapegoating. Themselves, but just saying they're not themselves, you know, saying, oh, that was someone else. And then each little rendition there, calling Italy Rome, and never really talking about how Rome is just a part of Italy. And Rome was like, conquered the world, so Rome obviously would have conquered Italy and stuff. And you ignore that, and then you scapegoat Rome and don't mention it Italy, and then now you call yourself Italians, and you don't see that. You don't see the link there where, well, shit, I'm in a nation that acts like Rome, going around and genociding the planet on stolen lands, making giant empires, and they're telling me they're Romans, but they're not saying they're Romans anymore. They're saying it's different. That land has a different name, just like Ukraine. Ukrainians are called Ukrainians and not Khazarians anymore. Someone started talking about that Khazarian word apparently, and they had to change it. I think it's just like an erasure of history. Like they bomb the libraries. They own the internet. They're erasing the internet as we speak. Like they own the Wayback Machine. I've shown videos where they've been deleting stuff, where stuff was there and then it was gone. So and it was about them. So I mean that's how I found it. Is because I was like, might as well start watching this stuff. And it's like where Trump came from too. Like, and then I mean, shit. They got the Germans. They're scapegoating. They have Musk up there, fucking doing that, doing the Sig Heil, and then they tried to scapegoat the Romans for that by calling that a Roman salute. But supposedly, there's no evidence, and it came from Italy instead because Rome is only part of Italy. It's not Italy. This is literally what I was just reading. So the word games here are strong with these bastards. Like each website I read talking about the Bellamy salute, which supposedly America invented, and which was invented by a person who looks like a pale-skinned Middle Easterner, like the pledge was to turn the nation into a national nation and not 50 states that were separate entities that had their own rights and laws. But I'm being told that must be one of the Europeans who genocided the Native Americans to steal the land. But he looks like a pale-skinned Middle Easterner to me, with maybe the hair of some African people he might have raped at one point in time who were their slaves. Just making assumptions about where these people might have came from, although they're the ones showing me the pyramid and looking like something half African. You don't see many pale people in Africa except for Elon Musk. So it's not generally what it's associated with until we get up to Egypt and stuff, which oddly is like at the center of the map there and does have like the palest people out of most of the Middle Eastern areas. So that's always been weird to me too. It's like, oh shit, Egypt's in Africa, but they're like, they don't even have tan skin like Middle Easterners do and stuff. But it should be hotter being right there on the equator and stuff. I know when I go to Cali in Florida, I turn colors real fast. Like by the end of the day, I've got an excellent tan, and I don't even have to go outside. It could just be through the car windshield. I think I was actually like within like an hour or two of going into Nevada. I think it was like under 2 hours. I was like, oh shit, I'm fucking orange now. So if you actually lived in the Middle East, in Egypt, I would think you would generally have a darker skin if you're a human and stuff. That is, anyways, but anyways, yeah. So the scapegoat thing, that's one thing I gotta watch out for here is that people don't set me up to be a little pawn in their game, and yeah, I'd rather do that. I'd rather just fucking wreck everything than take the small, minute chance that these people are being honest with me. They're being honest for the first time in their life that I'm really this person they're after for the reasons I am. I mean, the only thing that even makes sense about that really is how many times the humans have tried to kill me. Like, their bots network together to do that. Fucking, and I don't die. You would think they'd have even fucking 10 million gerbils could chew me to death. Fucking, so how could they fail repeatedly? Fucking that. But other than that, like I have them so much in my life running their fucking mouths. I'm assuming this is like a stage event they're trying to set up to help erase and erase the what they've been doing and confirm their lies as truth. So, I mean, there's already so many scapegoat examples in their book, besides the simple fact they invent the word in that book, too. And so they're kind of telling you what they're doing in the book, just like they're on TV. You know, Elon Musk has to come out and do that and stuff to signify that his people are the actual Nazis and they're going to do some Nazi shit. Uh, he wouldn't have done that if uh, if he wasn't feeling that little need to, brag what they're about to do to release his karma and shit. Fucking, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, he's that intelligent. He's intelligent enough to claim he owns a company, right? Fucking says he has to hire outsiders to work there, though, which makes sense. I mean, Einstein had to steal stuff from the Germans to make a bomb, to give it to someone else so someone else could make the bomb. And most of their stuff here seems to be stolen. They seem to have the TV first across seas as well, but these people are known for the TV after they bombed those places who had it first. Um, yeah, so I just assume their little Bible there is that's the entire purpose of it is to scapegoat um, everything and anything. They scapegoat the Egyptians, yet they're the ones who are going around enslaving the Africans every chance they get and um, enslaving everyone else. They're the ones colonizing people and forcing people to labor below them everywhere across the world, saying someone else did it. I mean, they invent this state inspector, which their people control as well to make sure people don't actually oppose this book about one family bloodline being God's people. All 2 billion of them are supposed to enslave the planet and just be the most despicable people on earth, running the global drug trade, scapegoating Mexico for it so they can stop Mexico from profiting off their drug trade and have more of a control lockdown here, sell more of their poisons instead of more natural or things that actually do work. They got to keep producing junk every few years, so if something did work, that was probably outlawed a long time ago. And then you have them outlawing things like alcohol and weed, and then you have their people being the heroes. The Italians are the heroes who fought Al Capone, that Middle Eastern looking pale guy from Rome, was the one providing people with it, and then they bring it back, and then they put a tax on it. So this is called tribute, when you pay a religion your tax, a racial religion. That way they don't kill you for doing what they want tribute for without giving them tribute. Just like they need tribute to bring in Chinese goods and sell them. They need to jack up prices and get like 300% ain't even it. You can buy some of this stuff for like $1.50 that they're selling for like $7, $8, $9 plus over here in USA. That's like a 700+% markup just to have tribute and maybe a storefront for it to be in. But it's definitely mostly about tribute. I don't even see certain quality things I can find in other places on some of these Amazon websites and stuff. I'm not sure if that's they just. I mean, they could probably make a lot off it, but anyways, yeah, Scapegoat. That seems to be the people's entire personality there. It's just passive aggressive manipulation and lies. And scapegoating is a an excellent passive aggressive manipulation term, method, tool, especially when you combine it with lies. Like, I mean, I guess scapegoating is a lie to begin with, right? So you don't have to combine it. I guess you have to combine it with a lie in order to even be able to do it. So, so they invented lying in their book because you can't scapegoat without lying. And we got whatever they are roaming the planet, stalking people and trying to set up these things and stuff and stage all this shit, create and invent millions of religions. Technically, there's only like 14. There's just, like a new offshoot for each city they colonized and trampled through. So, some people claim that this person invented a religion because of this or that. But it's like you can invent a religion, so no one did. Like they don't allow. If you could invent a new religion, you're inventing a new version of the Bible from people who have successfully killed and stopped anyone who has ever invented a religion. So you're dealing with those people again, just probably create a new scapegoat. The KKK seems to be a scapegoat. I mean, well, obviously it is. The Germans, racial supremacy is a scapegoat. Like, that's literally what the book is. The book is about my bloodline is the best, and God, we are gods, and everyone else is a slime. Everyone else is slaves and servants to us. And the KKK uses the crosses even. So, I mean, you might assume, especially because we can see, the Germans weren't wearing masks and stuff, but they're using, that racial supremacist symbol there, one of their 8 to 14 symbols that identify that their people are the leaders of this cult. And if you actually oppose those people like they claim the KKK did, then you wouldn't. I don't think you'd worship anything that they wrote, take any of their symbols. Again, just like they do with the pyramid, like they scapegoat the pyramid, but they use the pyramid because they are the pyramid people. But that's probably what they're doing. It seems to be what they're doing because they're all up in my life trying to talk to me about shit like that when I go outside before. And then on the Google here and internet, they're constantly filling my feed in different browsers too. Different browsers, different accounts with trying to fucking talk to me about chosen one and all this shit, working for God, and it's like, dude, I literally, like, do you have like a different God besides the God of the KKK? Because even the Satan God looks like he's working for the KKK. He says in the autobiography he works for the Christians. So why would I disbelieve him? The Christian's master is the creator of Christianity and the Bible and Egyptian slavery and the New World Order and science and atheist cults. So I'm assuming the reason why they're going around talking to me about that all the time is they're trying to set me up as their next scapegoat. They're trying to use this book to find someone to set up to be their scapegoat. And I won't play that game with them. That's stupid. Like, why would I even act like, why would I even want to be part of something that I've known all along not to get involved in? And, like, I know it wasn't invisible people who genocided the Native Americans and everyone else across the planet. So they constantly use it. I know how colonization works, and I know how you end up using someone else's racial, their gang signs, even before, like, I mean, it's there in the open. Anyone who doesn't think that that's a racial supremacy book, like, you literally just are, you're being brainwashed, because it starts and continues talking about this Abrahamic bloodline. This is called a race. This is what racial supremacism is. And they just invented that term. It used to be like you just knew that. You knew the people beside you were going to try to fight and kill you, apparently. At least that's what they tell me. And so you knew that that group was going to try to stick together and stuff. And so for 6,000 years, I mean, but also we don't have any evidence that anyone's ever been able to have their own. So it could just be they didn't need to invent that. And then they invented that term around the time that they scapegoated a nation and stole all their technology, stole a bunch of technology and ideas from them, and the land too, because generally it looks like they must own the place. That's generally what happens. I mean, they own America, right? So after they invaded America, looks like they own the place now. But yeah, I figured that's what they're doing with that shit. It's just making up fucking stories, and being an alien, being a fucking Elon Musk, and the Googles and all that. Like, obviously, they would easily use their computers to constantly try to feed you to go worship their bloodline, or else their twin brother Satan is going to kill you. Shit, why do we even allow people like that to exist on this planet, dude? It makes no sense that anyone should be able to go around doing that. Massive armies across the planet going around saying, worship this race or die, and you'll be tortured forever. And they're probably doing it too, because what else are they doing if they appear and shit? I mean, like, I have experience with them, like drugging, and they begin with child rape and mutilation for the slaves. All the slave cults do it. I don't know if they actually do it. Yeah, I think they're actually like more disgusting with it, because they can be freer around their own people. And these other ones are for people that they've raped and taken half control of their bloodline. So that's that. It's a racial supremacist book. It says right there, it's about blood. That's what that is. And they're scapegoating everywhere. And it sounds like their little book here, well, their book does have several instances of scapegoating in it, like scapegoating the Egyptians for what they did to the Egyptians, probably, and scapegoating their twin brother for what they're doing to you and everyone else. And I'm assuming from what they've been running around talking to me about, they're trying to find someone to set up to play these roles and stuff in their books. And they're using stuff like that to manipulate people who might look a certain way. Maybe they're used to the same looking person type of people. Like I have long hair. I don't you might get the idea, I don't care what you say, because if I cared what you say, I wouldn't have long hair. I'd do everything you do and everything everyone else does, and that would include cutting my hair. So it's pretty, to me, just that's common personality disclosure. You just look at me and be like, oh, he doesn't do everything everyone says, because he at least doesn't cut his hair short and go join the military and stuff, and all that. You can tell that just by looking at that image. So you might always be able to tell that someone who doesn't do everything you tell them to is going to look. You tell everyone to look one way, and if someone looks different, that's because that person isn't listening to you and doing everything you tell them to, and that could pose a problem. But it seems to be that I mean, I've seen other people on TV, they call out and try to say, oh, that's Jesus. Like everyone, they have so many Jesuses they put on TV and stuff that I've seen before, leading new cults and stuff. I mean, there's at least one out there I can remember, so that makes two of us they're going around telling this to. And I know someone else who looks similar to that, and they told me the world was all bull, and they didn't go into detail, but when I got older, I realized, like, yeah, that's probably the most intelligent thing anyone told me, because of seeing all this stuff. And if they look like that and they're targeting people who look like that harder than others, then they probably experienced it. And the girl they were with also looked, the last girl they were with and had kids with, definitely looked like them too. So I just kind of like assume he's dead, so I can't talk to him anymore. But I kind of assume, like, the last things he said to me and the things I learned might have had a lot in common with the things I have going on. Like, I'm telling you, there are certain people in my life, like the last girl he dated looked like the first girl who came into my life. Like, obviously I'm looking at that weird on its own. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who look exactly the same coming into my life. Even when I said I wanted to stop, they kept coming, and then they keep coming with this stuff, and it sounds like a story they're trying to set up to have someone to blame for everything they're doing. Be like, oh, look, it's God. He's the reason we've been going around genociding and enslaving the planet and running the drug trade monopoly and mutilating children and stuff. Bad God. Oh, that wasn't really God. It just looked like him. That was Satan. Oh my God, we were fooled. I have to deal with these people personally, and the shit they're feeding me fucking on the internet 24/7, and it's like the same fucking thing, like this passive aggressive fucking manipulation type shit, too vaginified to say some actual words, but definitely saying those words fucking still in different words. And like all the shit I went to before 2020 and in 2020 was because something was feeding me information, and I don't know how I didn't catch on to that earlier, but it took till like mid 2020 for me to realize, like, I didn't find any of this stuff out on my own, did I? This stuff was being fed to me. I found that out by the time I got out west, and I was like, oh shit, this might be the wrong place to be, because there was no black people out there that Black Lives Matter, and I felt very uncomfortable, and I felt like it was a total waste of my time to be out there. Although I still did get to see the fact of the matter that there was no black people there for them to free. So what would be the point of that there, of their people burning down the government buildings and stuff? And then, I go out there, and I've been following all along, so I could have easily become a scapegoat right then and there if I didn't just, put a halt to listening to everything I was being told, which I was trying not to do, but apparently I was doing that on some level. And so since then, like, I was like, oh shit, like, am I being like set up here? Like, am I gonna like take the fall for all this? If like I really wanted to stay like an outsider and not participate too much, but I realized like I probably shouldn't participate at all because that'll give them some bait to chew on if this is exactly what's happening. And I mean, you got to realize these people look like they own and control everything and everyone's mind on the planet. So everyone's always talking about them or how great their racial supremacy is, things like that. Often, even if you don't do the latter, generally you like talk about them and shit. Like people I know who aren't Christians are generally atheists, and they're like, "Oh, Einstein is the best genocider ever. I love him. He looks so cute and funny. He's so smart too. He's always talking about E's and squares, and I have no idea what that means. Fucking, he's so smart. He is listening to him talking, mind blown." And he's like, he doesn't even talk and shit. He like has never said anything intelligent. It's not like he's a scientist on TV fucking doing experiments or anything like that even. He's not even making like a baking soda and vinegar volcano and stuff. There was very, very little, and it was mostly just running the mouth about politics and stuff. We gotta go bomb these people and stuff. So it had nothing to do with science, but people worship him who don't worship the Bible and stuff, and so you worship him exactly who the Bible's telling you to worship, and it was designed to make you worship, apparently. So yeah, we're gonna not be scapegoats. We're not gonna play games with these people. These people, I mean, they've been trashed from the start, right? Like the pedophile, mutilation, and then enslaving and the drugging. I mean, they're people like they couldn't even wait till you were fucking an adult to start this shit. They had to start on the second you're born at one of their fucking scapegoat hospitals and shit. The people who scapegoat pedophiles, but are the people who can legally touch and mutilate children because their scapegoat European government made it legal. Anyways, yeah, it's just a bunch of fucking. There's a hell of a lot of lies and manipulation there, and dealing with these people in real life, they've come up to me and ran their mouth about shit that clearly, even their choice of words was suggesting that they're just using this to manipulate people. Like, the actual story, like they're trying to actually play out the story. They're going to use one of their people to come on stage looking like Jesus, and then one of their people who kills half the planet to be Satan and shit. Fucking pretty much seems what they're up to. I mean, they're alien race staging everything. They were behind those fires, but LA is their place, so was there even any fire? And then everything else going on. Fucking, they just have a habit of lying constantly. Like scapegoating fucking everything and stuff. But I think that's why they've invented these stories, is to pacify people that they've conquered and raped, and at the same time to later stage a story if they want to. And they're always talking about that too, about like their own people, Alex Jones is talking about they're going to use Project Bluebeam to stage something, but they don't have to stage the return of Jesus because they all look like the same person. So they could just come on TV and not have to have a hologram and stuff to look that way. So I figure that's what they're up to because they're never up to any good. And they're always sneaky, lying rat bastards. And they invented that word in that book because they're scapegoating with that book. And for some reason, they're always telling you what they're going to do when they're doing it. So, my interactions with them personally, it sounds like they're trying to find someone who looks similar to their character and use him to like throw everyone else under the bus to protect what they've been doing and stuff. And it really lines up. I mean, it even says like they'll be the king of that person, like, and you know, like why even continue talking to me if it doesn't look like that's ever going to happen? You know, why send so many people around me to manipulate me and force their way into my life if it doesn't even look like there's going to be a chance in hell of me one day actually waking up and being like, oh yeah, these are the greatest people. Fucking, I love child molesters. I love people who destroyed my entire life and who have been there every step of the way when my life gets fucked up, and or at least beside the person or bot they're operating that's doing it. Fucking pretty sure that's all that stuff is, right? I mean, you guys really like think you give your money to those people and Elon Musk burns your money in an offering to God? Or you guys think Elon Musk keeps all those donations he gets on Sundays and shit at the church? And I think I mean, his brother Joel Olstein there has some Ferraris and stuff, so I don't think he's burning that money, and so God can take a whiff of it or whatever their story is about how they need all that money for God and stuff, and why they need to suppress everyone else for God. It just they've invented the word in the book, so it's telling you what it's doing and shit. It's passive aggressive manipulation and lies is their personality type. So you must view everything they say and do from that standpoint that this person's going to lie to you. They're going to use passive aggression while doing it. If you start to question it, especially, generally that's what it takes with people. Is if you don't question the lies, they don't always bring in the passive aggression. But you know, to be honest, like I might just be saying that because right now, off the top of my head, I'm thinking about everyone I know, and there's always been that moment where I was trying to figure out if this person was trying to be fucking threatening to me and shit. And generally, when you first meet them as well, it's almost like they're threatening you into being their friend or lover and stuff sometimes, or family member, or whatever they're after and stuff. Um, yeah, definitely, I'd watch out for their little scapegoat plan, especially now that they're open about owning all the technology and AI, and they're using Google to fill up my fucking feed here with mind control. Even though like I'm literally making videos against that, and I'm like the harder they feed me more of their mind control, the more I'm going to fucking start wearing like fucking shirts that say "fuck your god" and have pentagrams on them and carving more fucking pentagrams and upside down crosses and 666 into my body than already am. Fucking. So I don't see the point to them continuing with all this shit unless. I mean, it's so stupid they don't realize. Like, all I gotta do is pull up my sleeve or wear a short sleeve shirt, and I don't think anyone's gonna be fooled by me playing one of your fucking scapegoat characters and shit. Fucking so. We're not gonna play this game. I mean, imagine how stupid the humans would be if after fucking 4 years of me putting it all out there repeatedly to make sure I don't fucking end up getting set up as someone's scapegoat, that they could still do it after like 4 years of me making videos and doing everything else I'm doing, fucking looking the way I look, dressing the way I dress, etc. Fucking like they still like talking to me. And like, hey, don't you want to be someone and go somewhere in life? It's like, oh yeah, you're preventing me from doing anything else. So your only option is I be your scapegoat or I get nothing in life. Uh, oh, it works. That's gonna work. I trust you. Oh, I trust you. I swear. I'm just acting sarcastic that way. Satan doesn't kill me for trusting God's people. Yeah, that's all. Uh-huh. Yeah, oh, I really fucking trust it. Yeah. I trust it so much that the second I got a whiff of it, I fucking started turning against it. Hard fucking U-turn and shit. Permanently putting a stop to it. Fucking. So, pretty sure that's what it's written for. I mean, they're using this Google to fucking run their mouth 24 fucking 7 and shit with some AI generation, some fake human shit, fucking looking like real people, fucking, but you can tell it's just popping up way too fast and with the topic and shit. And, like some of the videos are like, oh, you're making it so you can't be the person you're supposed to be and all this. It's like, no, I think this is the person I'm supposed to be because I'm not supposed to be a scapegoat for a bunch of fucking pedophile terrorists who've been drugging me and enslaving me my whole life and trying to kill me. Uh, yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to be a scapegoat for people like that, but they're using these words along with Christian doctrine, which the Bible basically says anything and everything, so you can pull anything you want out of it at any time you want. That's the joy of a book that's 300 pages long. It can say anything and everything. It can say the reverse. You can say the opposite of what it just said 5 chapters ago, and you're not going to remember that. So, and they're not going to point it out either. So, it can say, it could have said racial supremacy was bad, but it didn't. They didn't invent that word yet at that point in time. Um, Probably could have got away with that because no one notices that having the same blood as racial supremacy. So, uh, yeah, somehow no one can notice that. I thought it used to be common sense that religions were for separate races, although it wasn't common sense that they were probably all part of the same group, just half of something else sometimes. Even the people there at the top apparently don't look like whole people there. Elon Musk and Howard Stern don't look like any character I've seen anywhere on the map before. So, except for all over the fucking map, you know what I'm saying? But like as an actual place, like I don't think I've seen like a place with the USA. Obviously, they're not the Americans, though, right? So, um, I don't think I've ever seen a place that I could pinpoint that from. So, I got to make that assumption about the Egyptian masters raping their slaves and producing a product from it. Fucking something like that. Something very similar to that. Is like the best I can come up with as possibilities. Alien shapeshifters. I mean, we do have them teleporting across the map and shit, but seem pretty empty-headed, like they are actual bots and they do worship an AI as their creator. So maybe they're being honest about something for once. Except for they're not being honest. They're calling it one eye when one eye you have to translate to AI. So um, not hard at all. And it looks like some evil technology the first time you look at that fucking pyramid when you're 2 years old. So, um, seems like common sense. So they're not even being open about that, but they are kind of. And that might explain why they can teleport across the map because they don't actually exist and shit. But it definitely that little scapegoat thing they got going on. You could look through my feed here. I just tried to block a bunch of it, so I don't know what's going to show up right now. But like pretty much the words in it sounds like people are trying to manipulate me into worshiping them, and blackmail and threats, and little things like, don't you want to be someone? You're ruining your chance at life. You're ruining your story. It's like, this is not my story. I didn't make this trash up. I wouldn't have came to this trash planet if I would have fucking known this trash was gonna happen. How the fuck is it my story? Fucking, I'm gonna be the savior of the worst fucking people on the planet who fucking spent their life fucking isolating, separating me, trying to kill me, and trying to drug me. And get the fuck out of my head. Like, this is clearly them investing time and effort into a scapegoat. So that's uh, that's what they're using this for. They're trying to set something up and stage it, and then when they erase USA, they'll probably unfold the next chapter in their Bible. With the 29,003rd Bible, something like that. Um, Although technically, because it's set up, you can be like either character, whether you play along. If you don't play along with them, they can be like, "Oh, we thought that was God, and said it was Satan." And so technically, like not playing along still like falls into the scapegoat trap. But I figure I just put enough stuff out there saying I'm not going to be involved with them at all, no matter what the hell. Everything they fucking say, I'll oppose. And I mean, you really are stupid if you can't fucking figure it out if they come out with that shit. Fucking, I mean, you really do deserve to. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve the shit that's fucking, you know, all this shit, the enslavement and the drugging and stuff, preventing me from going anywhere to do anything so they can have a scapegoat later in life. Fucking, I don't really care. The other people, they can get whatever they want. Fucking, it just, they shouldn't have involved me in it. So, um, yeah, I mean, they can get whatever they want except for trying to drug and kill me repeatedly and enslave me and get the fuck away with it. Everyone else can do everything they want except for that. Fucking. So, yeah, that's it. We're not gonna do the scapegoat thing here. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you hear my discussions and then read what their AI produced videos are responding with and shit, then it's pretty obvious that they're trying to set me up, fucking set me up. Probably others they're working on too, to be a scapegoat for them, fucking to play their stupid little game and protect their fucking racial monopoly on everything on the damn planet. So we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna play along with any of their fucking scapegoat shit. They can fuck off. It's not like I even trust them that I would ever benefit from selling out to them anyways, because I don't think they've ever told the truth anyways. So that would just be dumb on my half to buy into the scapegoat stuff and be like, oh yeah, they're going to give me a 50 cent off coupon for free. Oh shit, I never got it. I mean, that would be me. You know, you're smart enough to fucking know not to listen to these people and their hogwash and shit. That's on you, fucking, when they do everything they do and shit. I have my own place. I don't have to rely on them. Well, I mean, I'm kind of like forced where I am, right? Take away my fucking first half of my life from me and prevent me from being around people I would want to be around. You're kind of like stuck with them, even trying your best to avoid them. Fucking avoid them in their system and government and people and nations. And you kind of like, it's like when I was fucking in Mexico. It's like when I was a kid. They take everything from you and then they send the church to give you some used clothing that someone donated, and then they're helping you. It's like when I was in Mexico, and the person I was renting the house from said, if you need a ride to the airport, I'll give you a ride. And so I scheduled my ride, and my ride never showed up because I was using a computer to schedule a ride, and the computer uses computers to network to their computers to make the ride continue to happen, and they control the phones as well and the internet. So it just real easy to make the assumption that he offered me the ride because he knew he was going to cancel my ride, have his people cancel my ride. And I didn't know, or I would have probably left and went to sleep in the jungle somewhere instead. But when I did leave, he was like, oh, I'm this bloodline. It's like, oh, yeah, dude, thanks for telling me. That's real important for me to know. Everyone I know literally in the world has came up to me and told me that. In fact, you might be the first one to actually be honest with me about it in reality land. But it's like, okay, so it seems to be that they cut off my ride, so I had to rely upon them and they could help me further. Fucking and technically they were kind of helping me because the place I was staying at, but I didn't know that. And the rest of the shit. Anyways, they took the ride from me, so I had to rely on their ride. I'm sure that's what happens when you rule the world with technology for 6,000 years and just introduce a small calculator to someone after 6,000 years. You probably real easy to use the phone lines you control and the computers you invent and the internet you control to prevent someone from getting on the internet like Zuckerberg does all the day long to half the people in the world. And so we're gonna make a real bad scapegoat with everything I've been doing and saying. I'm gonna keep fucking carving pentagrams and shit, and I tried to carve one on my forehead. I figured that would keep everyone away from me, but for some reason, like, I don't have a single fucking scar up there from that. Like, I didn't scar from cutting my head open. That was weird. And then the second time I tried, I melted my flesh. It turned out to be like a different design than I melted in my flesh. And like, melting your flesh is like, it looked like a sure fucking way to leave a scar to me and shit. And most of the scar is definitely still fucking there, but certain parts didn't fucking stay. That was so fucking weird. And so, if at first you fail, keep trying, they say. That's what they say to enslave you your whole life, and then you keep trying stuff and you keep noticing that there are people that are preventing you from doing anything, owning anything, having anything, called Christians and other Abrahamics. So I wouldn't recommend trying something over and over. If you notice the people around you are preventing you from doing things, that's because they're going to keep following you across the world, because that's the alien race enslaving the planet. Probably, if it's happening over and over, there's your little shapeshifter ass destroying your fucking life. That's what they do. That's how they enslave people if you don't openly worship them. You know, if you go to church, you're not going to have a good life. You'll be a slave, though. You can be a good slave and live off the plantation, but I'm assuming if you don't worship them, then you get to experience what I do, where they're following you around and causing you problems and doing all sorts of threats and blackmail and trying to kill you and drug you. We don't know the reason why the Christians in their society started drugging me when I was 6, 7, 8. I assume it's because I was smart, passed that 4 grades, won awards from the president, and they're like, he's not one of us, and he's not a full blood, and he's too smart, and we got to get rid of him. I assume that, but it could be I failed the Santa Claus test. Like I refused to believe whatever they fucking tell me and shit. I don't know why they started drugging and trying to kill me and shit, which later leads to heart problems that I'm going to die early of, apparently. But they did successfully do it, apparently, and there's obviously a good reason there. Like, I assume someone around me contacted the synagogue or Hollywood or wherever they actually hang out, the bagel shop, and said, yeah, this one's fucking doing things that he's not supposed to. He's fucking winning a war. He's like thinking. He can have thoughts. He doesn't believe me when I talk about Santa Claus. We gotta kill him. We can't have people like this on the planet. I'm sure it was something like that. Do you really think people are going around killing me, trying to kill me just because I look like Jesus? They're going around the planet killing everyone who looks somewhat like Jesus and shit. Like, as much as their bot asses are networked together to do that too. No, clearly it's a threat to their fucking bot species and shit. Fucking whatever it is. It's not just because I look like someone. Like, that's a lot of people in my life. Fucking just because I look like someone. Fucking, it's a lot of real serious attempts repeatedly all my life. A lot of real serious enslavement and preventing from moving on, which I suppose is a Christian thing, because they're teaching their kids, you know, they go and rape the new people and they force them to be a lesser Abrahamic religion, a Bible offshoot, one of the slave doctrines, and then they teach their kids not to do anything of value, give all the money they have away, give all the money they have to the government, which is them, and which is like the root of the Bible, those people, and not to advance, not to do things, you know, not to participate in modern things. That way, someone like Einstein and Elon Musk, who are total fucking imbeciles and useless to the planet, but are of the master race, can remain in those positions of power and enslave the earth and teach everyone that they're geniuses and to worship them. And pretty sure that's all going on, because this is who they are. I don't think they have a fucking slight clue how to change their genetics or a want to. Their probable lack of emotions make it so that I don't think they care about changing anything they do. I'm sure living in Hollywood and at the top of the world, in the White House and all that shit is not something you wake up one day and you're like, you know, we should quit this. It's only been, after 6,000 years, I'm tired of enslaving everyone and having them fan me and bring me food and stuff. Oh, God, we should quit this. Don't think that's happening. Fucking. But I do think that enslavement shit is, well, I mean, the Bible is pro-slavery, isn't it? Fucking. But I do think that's the purpose of it and shit. Obviously, the purpose of it would be to tell you that slavery is acceptable by God. Or if you don't believe in God because you've never seen him, there's 2 billion people on the planet who God has sent to enslave you. So you gotta at least respect, Einstein's authority and do everything he says. Give him all your money. And Elon Musk, too. He's the new Einstein, isn't he? He's so smart. He's the new Hitler and the new Einstein. You couldn't even, it takes a few pages of reading to equate Einstein to a genocidal freak like Hitler. But with Elon Musk, he just comes out and does it now. Fucking, yeah. I'm not going to play this little scapegoat game thing though, so I don't see the purpose of keep doing this to me. Like, what? We're going to become world leader with like tattoos of fucking pentagrams and people shooting people on me, and people are like, oh, that's acceptable, that's trendy. Like, I just seen this hot chick today, and it's like her face was like real tatted up and shit, and I'm sure her tats weren't some pansy ass shit. It's like, yeah, that's the woman I'm going to choose, too. Fucking, if we got to play this fucking game, I don't mind. She was fucking hot. Fucking, if that's the game we got to play, then I'll get my fucking face tattooed and shit. Fucking, so I can't be a fucking scapegoat. Just stop fucking trying to manipulate me into fucking being something I don't want to be. You don't allow me to be what I want to be, but you can't manipulate me into being something I don't want to be. So I'll remain the nothing you've always allowed me to be, and that will be the extent you get to control over my life, is to just not allow me to even have one. I'm not going to play some fake bullshit for some damn terrorist fucking Nazis. So you win, but you don't get to win that. So you might be used to winning everything in the world, but that's the problem. You're dealing with a person. I have thoughts. I'm a living being, and we're not gonna play that